How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. Interesting to see that ADA is actually taking 46% of the votes now on the polls, and I think that there's been a lot of attention that the community has turned towards Cardano in the light of the anticipation of Shelly and essentially what this is going to mean for developers and what's going to be built on the Cardano platform. And of course, this next stage in the Cardano roadmap does posit both a big risk and a big reward, depending on how Shelly is actually going to take off. But these topics and more coming up in this video, so I think this is an exciting time to make this video. I mean, obviously the market moving generally sideways, not as exciting as it could be, but of course, crypto things tend to be boring until they're not, and then all the news. I mean, there's been some huge news stories that we're going to get into. I mean, there's topics on revolving around from Russia and all these different things that play into the cryptocurrency ecosystem are important with headlines. But first, I think it's important to just look at this right here, what we saw happen earlier this week in Cardano and the price where it currently stands, and pretty much back to where we were. I mean, still up though from the very beginning of the week, which is also something of note, worth bringing up. And of course, XRP with their XRapid and Tron with their mainnet launch having already taken place, of course, respectively, Tron back in May and XRP, XRapid in its respectable timeline, getting their bumps from these products being launched, but Cardano still has Shelly essentially up, waiting in the background for its release. And I think this is worth mentioning, the fact that Cardano has been focusing on laying down the groundwork and getting things done, especially in this market. I mean, it takes a lot for these different cryptos to even survive, in these trying times. Obviously, that's sort of a overstatement, but at the same time, it's not. These cryptos wouldn't be here if they didn't offer at least some. I mean, everything in the top 100. Bearing a few exceptions to the side. People can make an argument for how they've managed to last. As long as they have, and crypto being in its new stages and all these different things, certainly does play into it. But one of the things that I think is important to talk about is the conversation around the academics structure, and that basically when we talk about the establishment getting warmed up to the concept of cryptocurrency, I think that it's well within Cardano's view of what is essentially possible when it comes down to these technologies. We're seeing something along the lines of when we want to talk about Bitcoin upon its introduction to the consciousness of the public. The conversation around Bitcoin started the introduction of the scarce digital asset, digital gold, but at the same time, Bitcoin sort of is the exception, whereas ever since Bitcoin, the cryptos sort of have to as being more opposed to the storage of value, sort of Bitcoin sort of gets grandfathered in due to its name recognition, the fact that it's a household name, has all these things going for it. But I think it's important to look at logically, the Ethereum smart contracts and how it affects what people essentially want to see, from their own particular crypto. And when we talk about something like Cardano and how they've been working to establish this framework and getting all these passes in the academic infrastructure, it's going to make the road a lot easier. Obviously, we're going to have to go through some testing times. I've been saying this in video after video that we can pretty much expect things to get worse before they get better. We're going to have to, it's going to be a slow crawl in the beginning, but just like crypto, when things go up, they tend to go up pretty quickly. Not to say that it will happen in any short time period, but I mean, it is important to look at, I mean, the different milestones Cardano has been reaching now recently. That's also something now to talk about. I mean, following the Byron phase, the 11th largest digital coin by market per announcement, it will enter the Shelly phase in Q1 of 2019. And Byron established the baseline for Cardano and allowing users to trade and transfer ADA. Shelly is focusing on ensuring that key elements are in place so that the technology grows into a fully decentralized and autonomous system. In 2019, the features of Shelly will be released, starting with delegation and stake protocol testnets, Cardano roadmap. I mean, this is well awaited. I think that it's going to serve to definitely get more attention, positive attention, in the way of basically giving the cryptocurrency community something to look at. But then again, I mean, you have to understand how the average everyday person is looking at cryptocurrency right now. I mean, crypto is pretty much a niche community. I mean, nerds like us are pretty much interested in, when Cardano's accomplishing these things on its roadmap, yada yada. It's interesting within the purview of the cryptocurrency spectrum, but it's not bringing as many new people into the space as like headlines tend to do when the bull run and all these different things. But once that attention sort of gets to crypto, I think a lot of people who are doing their research are pretty much educated in regards to what Cardano brings to the table. This Shelly is definitely going to be an interesting milestone along that path. It's also important to look at the different political elements that have been embracing blockchain, and Cardano moving to Wyoming as new governor praises blockchain. Now, this article definitely got my attention. Mark Gordon, incoming 33rd governor of Wyoming, gave a shout out to the local blockchain industry during his inaugural speech. This is crypto, just seeping into the mainstream. You want to talk about different, public attention and all these things. The conversation is happening. I mean, it's not just on like the further corners of the internet, like in previous ages. I think following like the late 2017, we've definitely seen a lot of mainstream attention as far as the conversation that's been underlying these development of the technologies, and it definitely is another pull, pretty much a beam of support that will move forward. And and especially with like the most recent elections, there's always blockchain and cryptocurrencies on the ballot in one way or another, and it's definitely going to be interesting, especially along the lines of when we were seeing these important decisions being made, as far as like the legislature, and when you want to talk about regulations and how things are actually going to operate in this space, when the big players at Wall Street and all these different banks and stuff are going to want to get their piece of the pie naturally. And of course, 2018's top cryptocurrency is ranked by GitHub. I've already talked about this, but Cardano as the most developed blockchain of the year, that definitely does go a long way as well. Regardless of where Cardano goes in the future, the fact of the matter is that whoever is aiming to replace Cardano is going to have to meet with the different milestones that Cardano has accomplished up till this point, which could also serve to the crypto's benefit, obviously, moving forward. So, would you think that Cardano is the more likely, that if people are actually talking about blockchain? There's more people going, taking college courses in blockchain is actually one of the most, it's one of the most sought after jobs, as things, blockchain is one of those things. College dropouts start global reminisce blockchain. I mean, it is definitely attracting a lot of the more savvy people who can basically see short-term, long-term into the future. So definitely something to pay attention to in that regard, and especially the Cardano influence that they've had. Getting the peer review and the academic structure, which is never before seen, but essentially sets important groundwork for what we can expect to see Cardano bringing in the near future. So obviously I like to give a shout out to different YouTubers, so I'm actually going to give a shout out to Cryptocurrency News, Cardano ADA, and how it could make you a millionaire, reasons for its skyrocket potential. This video is pretty informative. I watched it. It talks about a lot of similar things we discussed in this video, and then of course this Russia using Bitcoin sort of talk. It's interesting how those sort of headlines would have had an influence on the market when it was more, I think, based on speculation and less manipulated towards 2017. And but that's a topic for another video. That's everything I think for now. So all that being said, obviously remember this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Obviously I'm not an advisor, or this isn't advice. This video, I'm not your dad. Basically, you guys already know that. But yeah, if you guys are interested in talking to us, it's at CryptoTuber on Twitter. And all that being said, I think we could expect to see some interesting things from Cardano. I think they're rightfully do have a place in the top 10. I mean, I don't see very much of a future for Bitcoin SV, like these different forks off of Bitcoin Cash. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would people keep putting money into these forks when they're just going to keep forking, and especially when they could just get Bitcoin? But that's just obviously my perspective on the whole thing. Then of course the top performers in the 24-hour changed at the time of making this video: Hyper Cash, Q Cash, but yeah, Bitcoin SV. So I mean, that's just my perspective on it, though. I mean, I might be wrong, but then again, willing to take that. In the long term, though, I think I don't have much faith in the forks. But anyways, and that's another reason why Cardano has some potential, because of the way that they're planning on. They have the foresight to plan for forks and also to benefit from it. But anyways, yeah, that's everything. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure that you subscribe and comment down below if you watched all the way to the end. And I'll see you guys next video. Stay relevant. Have a good one.